Just 1 second here, get my stream set up, folks. Got a lot to talk about. Let's see, 5:12, 25, 7 p.m. weather update. All right. We're going to see if this works because I'm trying to stream the TikTok and to just a few channels. I see a few folks watching. Let me see if I can get my microphone better. I'm wearing a lavalier. Thank you for hanging in there with me the past couple of weeks. It's been a go. It's always a interesting time to try to figure out how to use all the tools that I have and how to actually keep my mental health intact and be able to do what I want to do with you on the weather at the same time. So most of you are looking at, and hopefully this looks okay. I took the, let me make sure. We've got a lot of rain falling, some flood advisories in effect. That may be a little loud, so let me turn this down for you. But you can see on our Mountain of Lake and our I call it Viper because that's the mistake I make for using that word. I can't use that word anymore because you will probably see it on another TV station. And it wasn't a problem until I started using it. So if you see it in a Roanoke station, you'll know that they copied me. And that's okay. But it's in the logo, kind of. It's called ThreatNet, but it's the same thing. So it's as in oops, ThreatNet. And sponsored by Mountain Lake Realty and Computers in Roanoke. After this stream, I will be testing out my add-on for Patreon, where you can watch extended coverage of severe weather. And I'll be doing that through different sources as well. But that's something you can try out with Patreon. I don't know if it's going to work tonight, but I'm going to give it a shot, and we'll see. And that way you can definitely get in on the very, very latest what's going on there. So let's go and check out our Viper ThreatNet. Or I'm going to say Viper about way too many times here. It's called ThreatNet. ThreatNet. But if you look at the top of the screen, you can kind of see I hinted at what it used to be called. But we do have flood advisories in effect for Southwest Virginia. And just to see if this is looking okay. Yeah, it's all good. Hey, Josh. Just checking with my cell phone to make sure my signal is getting out okay with that lower bit rate because I'm using TikTok as well. We've got a lot going on here. We've got, you're looking here at just a radar composite, and you can see a lot of rain around the Roanoke Valley area extending into Franklin County here through our ThreatNet here. And indeed, we actually do have some flash flooding potential going on. Most of it's light to moderate, needed rain. The ground's been very dry overall. But right here, this polygon here from Hillsville and the Mount Airy and Sparta and the Galax, that's where we do have some very heavy rain falling right now from Hillsville to Mount Airy, right along Interstate 77. That's reducing the visibility and creating probably a lot of havoc on the roads. I'll show you the visibilities here in just a second. As you extend your way outward from this, and for you folks watching on TikTok, you're going to be looking at different, kind of a different viewpoint here, but you'll be seeing this as well. I don't know if this is my headphones or this microphone that's changing on me. I think it's one of those things where I might have to use different mics. But anyway, we are looking at a lot more to come because we are seeing just the beginnings of this. If I expand the view out, and I've got the radar turned down a little bit, these are exclusive ThreatNet wind indicators. And so what this is doing is it's showing you where not the Weather Service shows wind, but where the exclusive ThreatNet product is showing wind. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here like this. There we go. And you can see these arrows there. This is going down into Georgia and South Carolina. This is what I'm concerned about throughout the night tonight into the day tomorrow, because we do have a general rain falling over the area, but there have been some storms with hail. That's in the purple there around Chattanooga. And where you see that yellow area, that's where we've had rainfall enough to estimate where we're seeing some flash flooding. And one of the areas that our ThreatNet can pick up on is topography, and it looks at flat rock, this area hit hard by Helene. Now, in no way is this Helene type flooding, but you can see a moderate amount of potential flash flooding there from Hendersonville into Flat Rock, even major flash flooding possible down 25 just to the south of the Asheville area. So that's a concern. Let me take that source for you, unlock it a little bit here, and I will, let's see, we'll pan down there at the very bottom or very top of your screen, and I'll take the bug and make that where you can see it a little bit better too. It doesn't want to move. Well, it's stuck, but you can still see at the top of the screen there. That's the flash flood risk, elevated in the yellow, high in the orange, and very high right up there in the red. So this is rainfall rates combined with topography, combined with the runoff. It's a really cool algorithm. It looks at all that, and it looks at the actual rainfall rate, ground conditions, all of that stuff. It looks at historical information, and it makes its own guess. Now, there are papers I could share with you if you're interested in helping me out in funding this ThreatNet stuff that indicate about a 30 to 60 minute lead time on flash flooding, which is really good in an event like this. Flash flooding kills more people than you realize. So we'll expand the view back out here, and you can see some wind indicators showing up with our cold front at the surface. Now this front's going to be nearing our area for the day tomorrow. Let me show you another graphic here. We've got flood watches in effect for most of the area, including all but the western part of the Blue Ridge. So right up against the Roanoke Valley and going into Christiansburg and Floyd County as well. I think my gain is probably turned up a little bit too much here. That's what's going on. These live mics or clip-on mics can be a little rough sometimes, but the whole shaded area under a flood watch, now where you see the green, that is under a flood advisory. So we'll get you that information here in just a second on the other radar source. But you can see small craft advisories with the choppy waters there extending down, and also down across North Carolina. Much of this area too is under a flood advisory and a flash flood watch, or a flood watch in effect for that area. I mentioned we get the lead time with you here in Hendersonville. Look at this. When I went on the air for you a second ago, we did not have this polygon. So our algorithm is working. That gave you about 30 minutes lead time there from Hendersonville, North Carolina down through Fletcher. Again, this is south of Asheville. The threat net is really picking up on that heavier rainfall, and it picks up on it pretty fast. It's one of the things that kind of makes it stand out. Other areas of interest include northeast Tennessee, where we've got some yellow and orange showing up there, and again, that is indicating where we're looking at the potential for some flash flooding as well. And we've got a few dots here across the southeast. Now, don't get me wrong, this is much needed rainfall, but it's just coming down in a really short amount of time. I'm going to go ahead and look at rainfall amounts so far, and we'll widen this out. This is over the past just 24 hours or so. Can you tell where the low is? It's been here across the southeast, spinning here across Vicksburg, and all the moisture's been coming up from the south and really accumulating in these individual storm paths. What'll happen is you'll get sometimes a fire hose of moisture that comes in right out of the south, and typically when we get flooding in the area, we usually have to break a dry spell and accompany the flooding with it. So we have to pay a price, as I put on my Patreon post earlier. Now it will depend tonight into tomorrow where these bands set up, but it makes the difference because a thunderstorm has about 10 times more lift than just general rain. So general rain, you know, you're getting amounts like 1.13 inches to ½ inch to, if you zoom in here across the upslope areas, up to over 2 inches of rain. So the rainfall amounts are varying because of two things: the fact that we've got embedded thunderstorms, and we've got the Blue Ridge Parkway right there. You can almost see where the parkway is, denoted by these higher rainfall amounts. These are totals so far. Roanoke at about 3/4 of an inch. So for most of us, this is some pretty good rainfall, but it's starting to fall a bit heavier, and especially going into tonight, it'll be a concern. Also, a concern will be what's to the south. Now, let's just look at how much rain's fallen down here across just where the storms happen to form. And I can't tell you with any certainty exactly where the storms are going to form tonight, but they have already produced a couple of tornado warnings. Look at 4.8 inches down here across North Carolina near the Jacksonville area, Topsail Beach, Morehead City, in between that area. And again, a very isolated area there, but upwards of 6.2 inches just to the south of Hubert, just to the southwest of Swansonboro. And if you make your way down here across some of these other bands here, south of Benson, that's south of the Raleigh area, you can see rainfall amounts up to about 2.5 inches there in the yellow. Same story there at Pinehurst, just east of Rockingham and 1, and the 73 bypass that's in place now. Most of the area has about an inch, nearing in on an inch of rain, but again, it's these upslope areas that are getting the 2.5 inch rainfall amounts. And that's not a big deal if you look on a map and say, okay, I live right there in Rocky Mount. I'm looking at 0.42 inches or 0.57 so far in Blacksburg. What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is the flood watch is up because this is going to run off and it's going to come down. Especially, you know, you can see the Blackwater River right here in Franklin County goes into the lake, and that's the Pig River, goes by Dad's store there in South Maine. So your headwaters are up here in Floyd County. So whatever falls up here is going to have to run off. I don't think we're going to have any severe flooding, but we could see some isolated, pretty bad, moderate to bad flash flooding in a few of these areas. Now, if we move back here across, this area got hit really hard over the past 24 hours. Over 6 inches of rain there just to the west of Columbia. And again, this is luck of the draw, because if you expand it out, you can see this counterclockwise swirl. The low is right there, and it's been pumping in moisture from Florida. They've needed the rain as well, and that's what's been going on there. So we are getting that much needed rainfall, but again, we're getting totals now on the order of 2.5 to 4.5 inches. and this will continue for the next couple of days here. This is a look at our exclusive, well, this is a look at the radar out of the Wakefield area, and it's got National Weather Service storm markers on here. I wanted to look here because we did have some tornado warnings out earlier out across North Carolina. Rocky Mount, North Carolina had a possible tornado that was a little bit earlier at about 5:10 p.m. local time near the Tarboro area. So these storms do have some spin with them because the temperatures are getting warmer as they move on in. Our roadway threats, I've been talking to folks at VDOT, trying to tell them what I can do for them. This is an algorithm that detects where the bad weather is going to be if you're traveling. It doesn't look at the bad weather in your backyard as much as it looks like it looks at what's going on if you're going up and down 81 or some of the other streets. It'll put out a red twisting alert. Fog is definitely a big deal right now through the NRV. As warm air comes in and overtops this cooler air, you're going to see reduced visibility and some moderate wind on the downslope side. So folks across Sevierville and going into Pigeon Forge, Johnson City, also going into the Allegheny Highlands, especially going into Beckley there where you see those little blue dots. That's now downsloping flow because our winds are coming in from the south, and what that does, it's the opposite of when we get northwest winds. Southerly winds will definitely bring a lot of wind with it in the moderate to strong fashion for those areas. This is an exclusive forecast for ThreatNet. Now, this is looking at not only where we're going to see slippery conditions, but flooded conditions as well. And I really want to use this. I'm going to take that bug out just for a second. So you can see there at the top of the screen the word flooded right there. So this actually predicts, this is amazing, this predicts where roads will flood over the next 24 hours or so. So pay careful attention. I've tested this, and it's really quite amazing. So we'll put this into motion going into 10 o'clock tonight. Most of the roads will just stay wet. And again, this is much needed rainfall, but if we do see some darker green, that's the Barron ThreatNet and the Vi as I've got it on the logo there, kind of showing us where there could be some flooding. I don't see any in our immediate area. The only blop that I see with this latest updates around the Cumberland area in Virginia, just to the east of Dillwyn, that is valid at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, tomorrow. So there could be some, again, it's very isolated, but there could be some flooding in that area as well. We go down across North Carolina and we start you out with now. And again, this area has already seen a lot of rain, so we pivot back some more moisture, and you're going to see some probably some individual areas of darker green there showing up there in the upstate of South Carolina. Forecasting flooding right off of 385 at 10 p.m. tonight. So for you folks down across the upstate of South Carolina, watch out around 10 o'clock tonight according to this model. And then as you make your way into the Asheville area coming off of Black Mountain there, Old Fort Mountain, there could be some flash flooding as well around 10 p.m. Again, I've tested this. It looks at pavement, the amount of lanes, where we've got topography running off here, and of course the rainfall rates. Also wind would help evaporate, so it looks at all of that, and probably more that they can't tell me because it is an exclusive algorithm that I'm still trying to pay for, trying to keep it up and going here. Becomes more showery into the day tomorrow, but that's a problem because we're going to start to see the energy begin to increase. This is a look at storm potential fuel. So what we look at is temperature, humidity, and if we get storms, do they have the capability of not only spinning, but do they have the capability for that air to rise? It's not enough just to get it to spin, it has to rise. See, it just updated lower amounts right now across the area. Now, if I continue to load the latest model, this updates every few hours here. It's going to take a second because I'm streaming and loading at the same time. But you can see how across Southside, Danville, down through the North Carolina area, by 6 a.m., we're going to start to see some higher dew points. We're going to start to see more energy coming in, and we're also going to see that moving in across Galax and the Mountain Empire. This is because the cold front's going to be squeezing that moisture out, and it's going to continue to kind of occlude, pick that moisture up, pick up this available fuel, and that's why I think we do stand a chance of seeing 1 or 2 tornadoes tomorrow, anytime between the morning and the afternoon hours as this loads. Look at those orange levels getting up about 2,000 to 2,500 on the Cape. Again, that's not necessarily where you're going to see storms, but if you were to pour gasoline out, how much gasoline do you have in the atmosphere? And do we have a match to light that gasoline? And we will have it by the evening hours. Predominantly here across North Carolina is the area to really watch for the tornadic potential, but I do think Southside and even parts of our area are going to have to watch out for that as we move into the next few hours here. So let's check out some other stuff. And I'm going to move this over here just to see if that works. Now this is a look at the radar locally. You can see lots of heavy rain moving in across Franklin County right now. Also notice it's coming in kind of from the southeast from Martinsville into Wentworth. So that's some very heavy rain there. You're looking at, let's see. Yeah, that's monitor 1. I've got a separate input going in for monitor 1 there, but you can see if I'm going to use this mouse to try to scoot around. Here we go. You can see how the NRV right now is seeing a lot of rainfall, and the colors here are exponential. On the left side of your screen, you can see we go from, you know, the blues to the greens to the yellows. I don't know if a weather person's ever taught you this, but these colors are exponential. So if you go from light green into your yellows and reds, it's exponentially heavier when you have that happen. So you're looking at more fast movement to this. That's indicated by the fact that we do have a lot more wind energy and a lot more wind shear to deal with all of this, and we are watching the fact that we could be looking at some tornadic activity or some severe activity as well. It's almost like parting the Red Sea here on the radar picture. What you're seeing is the Blacksburg radar, or the Floyd County radar, is located right there at the FCX, and what it's picking up, because the Earth is round, the beam is picking up the higher amount of moisture there on the edge of the scope. The lower amount of moisture is what really is bringing out that rainfall there. So that's what you're seeing taking place across Patrick County. Lots of rain falling around Hillsville, and we'll show you that here in another way in just a second, but I did want to kind of bring that to your attention there as well. All right, let's look at where we've got some tornado warnings, and we do have a lot going on. You folks on TikTok should be seeing that, but this is from Radar Omega. So this is looking at the Greenville-Spartanburg radar, and it does reach up into our area, but we do have, this is what's on the way for tomorrow, and that's why I'm watching it. A newly issued special weather statement for this cell in southeast Tennessee, just north of Cleveland, Tennessee, and right along this cold front here near Abbeville, we've got a new tornado warning that's in effect there. Let's check out the details on that. That expires in 36 minutes. I think we can actually go in and see the actual tornado warning. So let's read it here. This is for Abbeville County and the upstate. I've been in the upstate before. It's kind of like our area where Southside gets most of the rain and or gets most of the rotation. The same thing from Asheville down into the upstate. The upstate's usually the area that gets the tornadoes. But we're looking at mainly rural areas of central Abbeville County. But this is nearing the Greenville-Spartanburg area. So I'm watching that because there's a special weather statement also out for this as well. Near Calhoun Falls right now on 81. This is in the upstate of South Carolina. And this is happening right now. Now let's look at our velocity and see if we can see the couplet. See what the Weather Service is looking at there, and there it is. You definitely can see signature of rotation here. The radar would be right up here across Greenville Spartanburg, so this is just over the Georgia border. Just to get your bearings here, Anderson's right here, and of course over here would be the Clemson area. So this is moving off to the north, and you folks in the upstate of South Carolina towards Greenville, Spartanburg, Laurens, and Gaffney, and even Charlotte will want to watch the potential for these severe storms to move into that area, also into Kentucky as the night goes on. But I am seeing some pretty strong indications of rotation there. We'll take out the storm motion and just look at the storm itself, and you can see a little bit of a different picture here. What this does is it subtracts the area of the storm that's moving, and it just looks at the wind within the storm. So if we stalled the storm, what are the winds doing minus the storm motion? Sometimes it's a better way of seeing it. In this particular case, it's actually not. So we'll go back to the regular velocity there, and you can see we can show individual neighborhoods here. Again, this is not in Virginia, but this is in South Carolina, Calhoun Falls and Hester, and this cell's moving up to the north. It's funny, there's a place called Due West. That's not confusing at all. Moving to the north toward the Due West area. Didn't mean to make light of that. Also looking down here across Athens, Georgia, and areas to the south there, I do see some more couplets here. There's a special weather statement in tan for those areas because this is likely a line that's going to continue to develop, and if we just kind of trace that, that's going to put it across the mountains and near Bristol throughout the night tonight. So we'll look at a computer model here in just a second. We have had a few power outages. They've been restored. There was one earlier in Franklin County, likely caused by either an accident or some kind of wind issue there, or maybe some rain. But we've got more power outages and just some low amounts here across the Tennessee area thanks to the wind that's coming down here. And even from the Greenville-Spartanburg radar, we can see a little rotation there at this cell going into the Coker Creek area there, just south of Maryville and south of Knoxville. So Knoxville, you're in the zone too, to possibly get some severe storms and maybe even some tornadic activity, as the winds are coming in out of the southeast, but the winds aloft are coming in out of the south. So I'll continue to keep an eye on that. I don't know if I've got an actual signature of rotation or confirmed debris, but we can look at that real quick with our correlation coefficient. And any area that sticks out in yellow is debris. So right now, all cranberry colors, that's a good thing. The only thing is, on the radar being that far away, it's not going to pick up a lot of debris if it's close to the ground. Now you're looking at the stuff further away and saying, okay, Jamie, that could be debris. No, those are ice crystals up in the clouds. So we're going to look at the radar here in Georgia, get a little closer, and you can see that there's no debris there showing up. But you can see the freezing level picking up on those ice crystals. It can be a 90-degree day outside, and the top of that thunderstorm is going to show some snow and ice crystals. It's how hail forms, and it's fun to do if you're a meteorology person. I'm also seeing here, this is again in the Georgia area, just to the east of Macon, all of these cells starting to show some rotational signatures here. So you folks in Abbeville, take shelter. Again, Due West, take shelter. Let's see, 28. Don't know how much of a national audience. Probably Ron Hall, y'all's got all of that. But hey, we're gonna chip away at that guy. He inspired me. But we're gonna continue to do this kind of stuff the best we can. All right, so let's see. Going on. Radar Omega. Now let's go to WSV3 or GR Earth. Let's look at that one. I'll get it here in a second. There it is. This is what I meant by the fact that we've got wind out of the east. You can see these wind barbs here coming in out of the east from Virginia Beach, east to southeast. That's promoting that wedge. What I've got there highlighted, and you can see that one tornado warning that was in effect earlier around the Rocky Mountain area, and that correlates right there at that damage. That was in North Carolina. That's moving toward the Roanoke Rapids area. But what we've got highlighted here is the amount of, I think I've got the enhanced, the mixed layer CAPE. So where the mixed air is unstable is where you're seeing the blues and the yellows there pop up, and you can see the tornado warnings. Where you see the triangles, that's where we're seeing hail reports, at least estimated by radar, and it's really kind of neat there. You can actually get the validation from that by watching it load, and you get the actual storm report there of quarter-sized hail from the fire department there in Apple Valley, Georgia. So that's a neat thing to see. The radar picture is also going to show us here, not the actual radar, but it's showing yellow and gray and red. That's basically, we quantified the amount of rotation over the past hour. So if that tornado warning, you can see how the rotation started out kind of weak, and then as we went through time there, it got stronger as it crossed into the upstate of South Carolina there. So continuing on that path. I'm going to go back to my Viper here and see if I can see what we need to show you. All right, so going back here, and again, just to stress, we still have lots of rain in the forecast. Now, starting at 8 o'clock, I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to only be on Patreon. And that will be coverage of, well, let's do 8:30. I'm going to need a break. But that'll be some coverage of national stuff and what's to come with this. But we've got numerous markers here showing up with this tornado warning. If I zoom in a little bit across Greenwood and choose the closest radar, which is Greenville-Spartanburg, you notice that darker green right there? That's the ThreatNet showing me where we are looking at moderate to strong to extreme wind there. So ThreatNet again showing that, and sometimes it'll show a rotating cylinder as well. But right there along 72 there, it's agreeing that there's not only a flash flood threat there that you see here, but there in the darker green, I've kind of got it overlaid. You'll see that sometimes go into a brighter green and then a red, and then extremely cases when you get a tornado, you'll see it jump into yellow within that layer. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean I can do this. I can take the radar picture and we can filter that out. And now we're just looking at where the high winds are and where the flooding is. See what I mean? And the pink area is only showing you where the hail is. And I can even turn that off, and we can just look at only where the high winds are, or the damaging wind. I wouldn't say high wind, I'd say damaging wind, because what they've done is the folks at Barron have said that's out of our area. But the reason I show it to you is because we are going to get into this as we go into the day tomorrow. So let's go back to our forecast map here. This is our exclusive ThreatNet forecast. And I'm going to clear out everything on this map. And we're going to look at just our rainfall here. So we'll do cloud cover and precip. And I'll let you know your times on your screen, but this is right now. Let me make it a little better to see. Tone our cloud cover down a little bit. This upper low means first we get heavy rain, then we get spots of sun. This is a situation where if you do get any sun, you're going to see some stronger storms, and that's why I'm concerned about tornadic activity for the day tomorrow. I'll show you the fronts here in just a second as well. As this loads, notice that it's got a pretty good handle of what's going on right now. Just some moderate rain, some embedded cells there across the region. New model run just coming in means this thing's going to be extra slow. So we'll continue to let that load here as I show you a little bit more of what's going on some of these other maps here. And I've got historical information if you ever need something like within the past 30 days, insurance or whatever that tracks hail paths and can track damaging wind path. I've got access to that with this ThreatNet technology. So as it continues to load here, you're not going to see a lot of change other than the clouds are going to just kind of break up from time to time. And I'm going to run this out of our ATEM switcher. It's the same source, but as it's loading, I can show you other things. Again, this is the tornado warning still in effect right now out across the upstate of South Carolina as I continue to let the model load here. And I can show you here on camera 7. This is a little bit confusing, but it does show the brighter pinks where we're seeing the deeper moisture on the water vapor. The neon is the rainfall, and you can see that the certainly here the areas that are going into the sunny breaks where we see the dry slot, that's where we're actually seeing the majority of our tornadic activity. So again, sunshine is a bad thing, and we're going to get some breaks of sun for Tuesday and then the Wednesday as well with the system as it moves on through the area. I've got a second Viper source here. This is looking at North Carolina there. I'm just keeping an eye on things. You can see the high wind marker there around the Anderson area. Also notice the temperatures increase from 66 to Greensboro to near 70 in Jacksonville. So 75-degree air pushing into 60-degree air or 56-degree air usually spells trouble for somebody, and it'll move the trouble zone in terms of high winds going to move from southwest to the northeast there. So that's going to be the area to watch over the next 24 hours or so. And we do have radar scope dialed in. We've got an Apple hooked up here, and got radar scope. This also shows us what's going on in Tennessee, so you can see the rain that's coming in across southwest Virginia. But in the pink areas, those are areas that have rotation over the past hour. So similar to what we saw on GR Earth, this is areas where we had the spin going on. But if we move in a little bit tighter here, and let's see if I can't make that a little easier to look at visually. I'll tone down, I'll try to tone this down a little bit. Maybe not. I think I tried messing with that a little bit, but you can get the idea. That's where the special weather statement's in effect. Now, if I pop up the velocity, you can see a couplet there. So there may be a tornado warning very soon. Let me get your bearings again. This is just over into Tennessee. So if you're vacationing, got friends down here around Pigeon Forge and the Gatlinburg area up to Jefferson City and Morristown, we've had some rather strong storms here. There's just a lot of wind shear in the air, in addition to there being some heavier rain. There's also been a bit of a lightning jump here. So I predict a tornado warning here very soon. I've studied this. I know what I'm looking at, basically. A little bit of an arc there showing up too. So this is right on the cusp of being probably a tornado warning in Tennessee. the high res correlation coefficient. Actually, I see a little bit of debris possibly in the air. So you're going to see a warning here popping up very shortly. And in fact, if I go to my GR Earth and we look at the Tennessee area, you can see there's no warning, but look at the amount of rotation. We can see around Tellico Plains near Farner, the rotation has again increased. So anytime now, expect the red polygon to show up. You're getting the jump on it here with our ThreatNet technology and with the just being trained as a meteorologist. And it's just not, it's not a brag, but I've got to tell you why you have benefit in watching this stream over some of the others. I've been doing this for 31 years, and the key, I think, to watching this stream, in addition to some of the others, is being able to have a heads up on what the radar is showing before the warning comes out. Because once the warning comes out, you've got maybe 1 or 2 minutes. There's a delay in the radar picture. There's all kinds of things that'll affect that. And you want to be ready to go when that warning comes out. I'm going to use the GR Earth here to show the forecast here. Just give me 1 second because it's taking a little while on the ThreatNet. A lot of rain coming here, so we'll do model fill. I'll let you know if that warning ever comes out, but there ought to be one. That's pretty strong indication to me. And in fact, see if Viper agrees. I said it again. Vi correction ThreatNet. ThreatNet agrees. It does have the high wind marker there. It's got its own 1 out of 10 potential for spin going on. And so if I click on it, there's going to be a box that's going to show up. You might not see it. There it is. So out of 10, ThreatNet gives this a 2.4 chance out of 10 to being a tornado. And again, this is in Tennessee. There's no warning on it yet, but it's got a 60% chance of hail. Not much of a shear rate, but I think that's just a problem of the radar. I think we are going to see, because your low's right here, I think you're going to see some tornado warnings soon and around the Pigeon Forge area. And then going back down across the upstate of South Carolina and then looking at the actual tornado warning that's still in effect here. This is going to use the Greenville-Spartanburg radar. And that one has a 2.7. There you see on your screen some of the paths. It's putting it a little bit farther to the north, zooming in there between Abbeville. And when this gets close to our area tomorrow, you'll see the advantage of having all this activity. 2.7 out of 10. That's fair. That's enough for the warning, which is surprising to me why we don't have the warning out for Southeast Tennessee, but maybe they've got their own reasons for holding off on that right now. We do have a near-term forecast, and I think that will load better. Let me go to this map. Now what this does, this is the coolest part, I think, of ThreatNet. It looks and it updates every 5 minutes, and it shows you, based on growth and decay from MIT, what it thinks based on not just a model, it bases it on actual conditions. And so I'm going to advance this for the next hour, hour and a half or so, and you can see how the cells will continue north. I mentioned the Greenville-Anderson area. You can see how it kind of meshes together there. The rains will continue across the Roanoke and the Franklin County area, but this area here from Knoxville into the upstate of South Carolina will be in the zone for probably some tornadic activity, I think, as the night goes on. Some dangerous conditions there, no doubt. Now, switching back over to my monitor here. And the colors are just all over the place there, so I'll use it here. Stand by, folks. One quick look at the radar, just looking to see if we have anything of interest. Just a lot of rain falling in a very short amount of time. You can hear it pouring down outside right now, actually. Let's see, let me get my right monitor going on here. That's not it. That's the left monitor. Did I not make a right monitor? Knowing me, I didn't. So let's just add one real quick. All right. And of course, because I'm live, it's going to come up way too big. What I've done is I've put this program in another window here that I normally don't use. So I'm going to size this up. For these purposes. All right. So I'm going to clear all this out and we're going to load some model data. So we'll do model fill and we'll take out everything else. I can tell already we're looking at the GFS, so we want to look at something more high res. And we're going to look at the latest on that. So this is the computer model. This is what we're looking at from now into the next couple of days here. This is the 18Z run of the 3-kilometer NAM. And I should be able to arrow through here and then show you or tell you what the time is. So you notice the stronger storms there across North Carolina. So the heavier rainfall may begin to move north, but with time tonight, after about 8 or 9 o'clock, I'm really worried about this area from Asheville into southwest Virginia, also into the coal fields of Kentucky, and also into the Mountain Empire area of southwest Virginia. Also, not to be forgotten, the fire hose of moisture that continues to come in around the Wilmington, North Carolina area into Raleigh-Durham. That's an area that could see some bad flash flooding and embedded tornadoes as we go through the night tonight. So here we go by 10, 11, 12 o'clock midnight. Sporadic showers and thunderstorms will lose some of that daytime heating, but within some of these discrete cells here across the upstate, going into western North Carolina and even into our area, temperatures more like the humidity will be increasing. Now tomorrow is going to be the interesting day because as early as 5 a.m. we're going to have a slug of storms and rain, And you can already see around Greensboro, this is a forecast for 5 a.m. The model is hinting at a bit of a curl with that. So we could be seeing some spin with some of these showers and storms as they continue to move on in. This is, again, just a forecast, but this is the, let's see, 6 o'clock hour, 7 o'clock hour. Pennsylvania County may want to watch out. Most of the activities east of the Blue Ridge, because that's where the rivet of moisture is. But there will be a break of sun more than likely out here to the west. And I think, I haven't looked at this yet, but I bet you as I advance this, you'll see a redevelopment of storms here in this drier area. So let's see if I'm right. This is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Tuesday, and we'd advance it. And what was I just saying? Right there's one line, and there's another line across West Virginia. So we are working on probably some sunshine, some warmer weather. Folks saying, hey, it's not that bad. And then maybe you get some of these stronger storms that may want to rotate on us by the late afternoon hours of tomorrow into tomorrow evening. Definitely more scattered in nature, but where they do form, they could be spinning quite a bit. Going into tomorrow night, it continues, it kind of wanes again and gets a little bit cool on us. And then we've got one more day, Wednesday, after a pretty calm Tuesday night. Wednesday, a flare up of upper level energy and probably some hail makers coming down with some of these storms as they pop up in the afternoon, because the air aloft will be getting kind of chilly. High temperatures will be in the upper 60s by Wednesday, nearing in on 70, but the air aloft will be getting pretty cold there. So that's something you're going to want to watch. This is the HRRR model, just to make a comparison here. And we're going to rewind that back to right now and look at that through time. You can see the rain moving back to the north, but then as the night goes on, well, let's get our latest run here. I'm going to stick with the 18Z run. All right, so this is right now. That looks pretty good for initializing OK. It's got a good handle on things right now. This updates every hour. But again, the one I was showing you on ThreatNet updates every 5 minutes. So the heavier rain continues through 10 o'clock tonight. By then, we may have some roads underwater, mainly just drainage and low spots. But it's these individual cells that we want to watch. I'm not too worried about late tonight, but I'll keep my eye out. I'll sleep with one eye open tonight just in case for you. And then getting up early in the morning, more of this activity, kind of heavy at times. Any one of these cells has the potential to start spinning, but we'll have to work on the afternoon sunshine to really get the updrafts going. And that could flare up some activity as early as 2 p.m. tomorrow, according to the HRRR, showing us there that a pretty active afternoon could be on the way for us for Tuesday. And the reason is we have a front that'll be moving on into the area. So if I pop out here and we look at the internet browser, yeah, this is what I wanted to enlarge for you so you can see what I mean. So this is tonight, and you can see that warm front working north, and it's right along these fronts where you can get some lift going on. Now throughout the night tonight, that remains in place. The meeting of the cold air that's caught up with itself and the warmer air and the approaching cold front, it's like a zipper. That occlusion there will bring those two fronts together, and that tends to create spin. So tomorrow morning, the triple point will be near Boone, North Carolina, and that could be where we see maybe some rotation, even in the mountains. The front kind of dies out for the afternoon, but we're left with plenty of wind shear. And then that continues into Wednesday as well, just lingering moisture, probably some hail, even into Thursday, and then another front coming in Friday and the Saturday could bring us some scattered showers as well. So that's a look at things. We never got our tornado warning in Tennessee. I think maybe the folks of the Weather Service were wise on that by, I don't know though, I did see some, I saw some debris on the correlation coefficient, so I hope they didn't miss one. But we do have some heavier rain that's still on the way, according to Viper, and our wind forecast indicates, or our threat net anyway, indicates that we are seeing still a threat from the Storm Prediction Center of what will be happening there. Ribbons of rain coming up. And where you see the brown areas, that's where the Storm Prediction Center for right now is mainly concerned about the potential for some strong wind, mainly in the form of either straight line winds or tornadic activity. But tomorrow, what you're seeing, that brown area right there, could be a little bit farther inland, including the Raleigh area, where we've already had a tornado warning in effect for tonight, or for the evening hours. I'm going to try one last time to give this the load. And if we keep on talking to it, maybe it'll happen. This is why you saw me sound off on the county broadband. They were bragging about it, and I'm like, I'm spending a lot on hot spots and all kinds of sources here. So there it goes loading. Now this is the exclusive Barron model, and what it shows is through 8 o'clock p.m. again, maybe a break, and then more activity there across the Asheville area by 3 o'clock in the morning. Be cool is if, you know, if they wanted business to stay in the county, they find a way to make this work, since it's about saving lives. But that's just me. That activity is going to continue to move in. It's not going to be able to load up here. But what we're going to do is we'll go on Patreon here a little bit later on and look at some exclusive activity there. We'll continue going on with our radar picture and some of what's been happening across the area. The right monitor here showing us where the wind shear is. This is a little dorky, but this is actually really important. We'll take off the radar picture and show you the supercell composite, and it's highest here across North Carolina and Tennessee, but it's got a 6-hour forecast to it, which is kind of cool. And it keeps it there for tomorrow, so that's the good thing. The overall wind shear, though, is around 20 knots. It looks like that wedge may stay in place tonight. That's a bit of a change. We'll look at the Cape, the amount of storm fuel. Those winds stay out of the east, so we stay around 500 or so, and then the amounts diminish. That's good for tonight, but tomorrow, as this pushes up, there'll be a boundary. And there'll likely be some kind of a forcing that goes on right along this boundary. I'm trying to show you the best way to show that. This is surface frontogenesis. This is where we're forcing the air together. And it doesn't have a forecast on this particular map, but as these values start to move a little bit farther to the north, you'll start to see more tornadic stretching, and potential for an EF0, EF1 tornado will be increasing. This is the potential for an EF0 tornado right now. West Virginia's got a 15% chance. Down across southwest North Carolina into the upstate of South Carolina, we've got a 15% chance of that too. So tune in. Let's see, what's the time now? 8 o'clock. Tune in at 9 o'clock. We'll go 9 o'clock and we'll do a special Patreon only update live stream. Check it out. We did an hour for free here, so if you feel like you're getting something out of this, I appreciate it. If you don't, then so be it. We'll continue to work on it here for you. I did want to show you the visibilities. I mentioned I-77 where it's raining pretty good. We've got cameras in that area, and VDOT's also got an updated look at their their VDOT website, and you can see the visibility's way low here down across the parkway. Looks like we've got cameras in Rocky Mount working. Let's see. Got 2 cameras in Rocky Mount? Yeah. Where's this one at? It looks like it's on, is that the one? Okay, that's the bridge. It goes over toward the Doe Run area, the power dam, I believe. Notice the trees there in Franklin County, they're swaying in the wind. I'm excited. I haven't looked at this in a while. We've got 2 Franklin County live cams going on. That's good stuff. And I think there's one at Plateau Plaza. If this will let me get, here we go. Yep, there's your Plateau Plaza. That wasn't working for a long time, but now it is. A lot of construction going on around there, but you can still go in and get you a biscuit at the Bojangles. That's the good news. Let's look down here across I-77 real quick, where we've got a multitude of cameras, and that's a good idea because we see so many crashes here. VDOT really stepping up their game, and I like that. You can see the yellow area showing us where the traffic is slowed down a bit. And we pull up these cameras, you might just see, look at that poor visibility there. This is a live look at I-77. Slow it down. You can see that visibility is near 0. You've got tractor trailers passing each other. They've got to make it up the hill, but we see pile up after pile up after pile up. Folks, please be careful on I-77. It's something that always ends up happening. It's very patchy too. As you make your way closer to the NRV, you see a lot of runoff there. This is further back up toward the 81 area, but we can see the water in the ditches there. So that's kind of a neat thing to see. But right here in this area of Carroll County and Lambsburg and the Ward Knob area, just to the east of Galax there, is where the visibility really goes low. And that's because basically what you're doing is you're coming out of elevation. You're going way up in elevation, and it's creating some havoc out there. No power outages in Virginia. That's some good news. So we'll continue to keep you updated on the weather situation again as we continue to look at things from a broader perspective here. More rain to come, and I do think the tornado chances will be going up. The flash flood will be isolated, flash flood isolated chances, but they are dangerous, and we'll be monitoring that, or I will be monitoring that tonight. I'll try to have some Patreon stuff for you too. 9 o'clock tonight, Patreon only. Patreon only update at 9 a.m. tonight, or 9 p.m. tonight, and then later into the morning tomorrow, I'll try to get you a free update out. And then as the day progresses, we'll put out the Patreon only web stream there for you. Stay